And Kat, Virginia in a familiar spot here in the ACC, and Louisville really tried to make its name known in the conference here in year 2.
Well, they really are. It's a total different entity for Louisville. They're trying to get to the speed of play. They're having to recruit differently because it's the ACC. It's the best conference since women's soccer began. And Virginia, they're in their familiar role at the top of the conference, but now they need to really put together a full 90-minute game. They're really trying to find their identity, but they're starting to peak at the right time.
Yeah, certainly Louisville got everybody's attention with that upset of then number 1 North Carolina. For Virginia, Mackenzie Doniak, certainly a point-setting phenom and the chance to break a record tonight.
Well, she's a special player. She's tall and she's strong and she's fast, but what makes her special is how agile she is for her size. She's so difficult to defend, and she just is a natural goal scorer for Virginia. And on the other side, Taylor Blecklin is going to have to stop Mackenzie Doniak. She has a lot of saves, which for a goalkeeper, that's not necessarily a good stat because that means she's getting a lot of shots. But she's been coming up big time for Louisville, and she'll have to continue that today.
Yeah, certainly done a great job in her first season transferring in from Michigan for Louisville this year. Last year when they met in Kentucky, Virginia got the win 2-1. The Cardinals, with their first ever trip here to Klockner Stadium, they're in for a good one. When it's all snowy on the ground in February, it's that nice tonight. Let's look at the starting lineups. First of all, here for Virginia.
Well, they're starting in a 4-4-2. That's typical of Virginia, but not very typical of a lot of other schools. So it's something Louisville's going to have to deal with today. But look at number 8, Alexis Schaffer. She has been a key for this Virginia team. She's very creative and good at making decisions in the penalty area and setting up her teammates.
Meantime, for Louisville, and it is Lexi Nadoba, the senior from Maryland, who gets the start up top.
Well, she does. Unfortunately for Louisville, Viteri has a little bit of a stomach bug, so Nadoba is getting the start. She's going to need to be vocal leader up there, hold the ball for Louisville, allow their players to get up, and be very quick in the transition moments.
How about a couple of Cats keys here for each team?
Well, talking about those transitional moments, they need to read the cues. Virginia is so good at possession that when they do win the ball, they need to win it fast, and they can't let Virginia counter on them as well. And Virginia, because of their possession, if they keep that, it's going to be hard for Louisville to gain any confidence in this game.
White tops with the orange and blue here for Virginia at home. Dark-colored red and black for Louisville on the road, and played back to their keeper, Taylor Blecklin, in green. And first season transferring in from Michigan. And now the Cardinal play it wide. It'll be a throw-in here for Virginia. Louisville 7-6-2 overall. Again, we mentioned the win over number 1 North Carolina. They're in the throes of a rugged part of their schedule. They upended North Carolina in overtime. Then they had a scoreless deadlock with Duke, which is now ranked, and then played another number 1 in Florida State, fell 3-1.
Well, Coach Ferguson days goes, what coach in their right mind would play North Carolina, Duke, Florida State, and Virginia back to back to back to back? And here they sit doing that, and it's a tall order, but they've had really good results. And a result tonight against Virginia would just continue this confidence builder for Louisville. They're still trying to get into that ACC speed of play, and these are the big steps that they need to take to get there and be one of the top teams in the ACC.
Season number 2 for Louisville in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Played to the near side, Virginia looking to possess and build up. Tina Iordanu, a junior from Upper Brookville, New York. And there is Doniak. Schaffer back to Doniak, dispossessed. And clearance here for Louisville. Virginia able to collect and looking to build again. Cavs 11-1-1 overall. And again, 5 wins in their first 6 conference games this year. Schaffer looking to turn it inside. Entry to the box. And again, McNabb playing it.
You're already getting a sense that Louisville is really dropping a lot of numbers behind the ball. Right now they have their whole group behind the ball because they know that Virginia can pick them apart, and they want to limit the amount of space Virginia has in the attack.
Iordanu, service to the box, lost, and cleared away. Doniak trying to poach. Iordanu, another left-footed cross, and this time Blecklin off her line to snare it.
Well, it's all about the outside backs for Virginia, and Iordanu is one of those players that's going to be getting up and getting these crosses off a lot. That's a dangerous cross. Well done from Buckland to control that, because there was a couple of Virginia players wide open in the penalty area.
Important for Louisville to stand strong here at the outset. Schaffer, she'll take a crack just outside the box and couldn't put it on frame. Against Florida State, they gave up 3 goals in the first 13 minutes, and this is the area where Florida State was attacking this right defensive side of the field.
Well, you can tell that Virginia saw that on the scouting report, and they're doing exactly the same thing. And right now, Louisville is just giving them too much time and space. They have to close down a lot quicker. If you're going to drop, you have to know the point that you can't drop anymore, and you have to start to step and put the attacking players of Virginia under pressure. And right now, Virginia players can do whatever they want to.
And this Virginia team in its last game had a quick start, 2 goals in the first 7 minutes as they went on to win at Boston College 4-2 last weekend. And fantastic day weather-wise. Temperatures pushing 80 degrees during the day. Settled into a nice atmosphere for soccer. 5:30 local time start here in Charlottesville. So those shadows going to be falling over the top of Klockner Stadium. We should be all in the shadow here next 15 to 20 minutes. Brittany Radcliffe gets it back, looking to turn inside. And the challenge coming from Allison Price. Free kick Virginia.
And this is where Louisville really has to focus, because these kind of free kicks in this area is where Virginia can get one of those goals that's just bouncing around in the goal mouth, and that's just deflating for a team, especially this early on in the match.
Schaffer ready to trigger. 7 Virginia players lurking inside the 18. That low cross deflected out by Aubrey Baker. And fighting the sun, just a couple of sections still here in the field. Cross going through, and Buckland able to tell her defense they have time and space. Inger-Katrine Bjerke looking to find a similar colored jersey out near midfield, but instead Virginia with possession.
Well, that's a lost opportunity for Louisville. It's all about transition, reading your cues. Well, there they had time to try and build up a little bit more, but they gave the ball away again.
Kai Torres living it off for Morgan Ruther. Good move. Another low cross. Bevy of Louisville shirts there in red to keep it out of harm's way for the moment. Ruther wanted it back. Torres couldn't get it there. Ball work. Stepping inside. Right-footed cross. Doniak couldn't control, and it was hanging there in the shot over the bar.
The Louisville defense is living on thin ice right now. It's just bouncing Virginia's way. Excellent cross here from Torres. Doniak's able to take a touch in the box, which you can never let happen, and they are so fortunate that Radcliffe did not get over the ball, because that's a wide open look for Virginia, and Louisville just has to get themselves together and realize that they just need to calm down and not be so sporadic defensively.
Here's one of those counter chances you were talking about for Louisville, off the bar. Shot from distance by Allison Price, and that close to snaring in front.
Wow, completely against the run of play, and Allison Price just decides to take it to herself, and what an excellent strike. Morgan Stearns could not have made that save if it had just been inside that post, so what a great opportunity. The best opportunity of the match for both teams.
Sophomore Clemens, North Carolina, oh so close to her 3rd of the season. And this Louisville team, 15 goals in 15 games. So the offense has been hard to come by, but they are pretty stout defensively for the most part. Only allowed 15 in 15 games. And Virginia, the offense, as usual, cranked up. They've been top 2 in the country in goals in each of the last 3 seasons. 2nd in the nation this year, averaging about 3 per contest.
And it's even more surprising is Mackenzie Doniak's been dealing with injuries, so she's not scoring as many goals as they thought that she would, and they're still getting that offensive output. And that's just a testament to Steve Swanson and his recruiting and what an excellent coach he is. He's one of the best coaches in the nation. He was with the national team for the World Cup, and he just brings back a beautiful style of play here at Virginia. And you can just see it. They run so well on all cylinders with possession. It's a fun team to watch.
So this team has been getting good results this year. We haven't reached our potential yet. We're doing enough to win games. Kind of grinding things. He said if we were an engine, sometimes we're sputtering, sometimes we're revving right, and it's nice to be able to say that when you're 11-1-1.
Yeah, I was about to say, I would love that engine. Anytime. I would take that engine if I'm in only one loss. So they just want perfection at Virginia, and that's what Steve Swanson wants from his team. And he's so detail-oriented that I don't know if any performance is ever good enough for him, but that just shows you what an excellent team this is, that even not at their best, they've still only lost one game.
Louisville trying to settle here. Virginia looking to mount another charge on goal. Taken away, lead feed, trying to link with Bella Hobuda. It's played back to Stearns. But a missed touch here, Louisville. Chance to get a secondary ball in. Cardinals went 7-9-2 last year, their first year in the ACC. Already matched that win total overall, 7-6-2 coming in. And Karen Ferguson-Days getting this group really to buy in to what she's trying to accomplish, and it always helps when you can have a signature win for your program like they did in that 2-1 toppling of North Carolina.
Well, she said they didn't have to be the best team on the field. They just had to be, or on paper, they had to be the best team for 90 minutes, and that's what they were. It was more like a little over 100 minutes since they went into overtime, but that's how they won that game, is on that day they decided they were the better team, and that's what they have to continue to do each game. And like we talked about with their results, they're just gaining confidence. And you're even seeing in this match, after the barrage of attempts from Virginia, well, now Louisville settled in a little bit more, and their defense has gotten a little bit of a break.
Easy control for Kristen McNabb. Try to play it forward. And the settle opportunity for Betsy Brandon.
Come on. Hard, Caroline.
And for Louisville, we mentioned giving up 3 early to Florida State last time out. Coach Ferguson-Days pleased with how they responded after that. They were able to get a goal first 3 minutes of the second half against Florida State. That snapped a scoreless streak of over 500 minutes for the Seminoles at that point. Another counter opportunity. Rachel Avant taken down just outside the box. Excellent free kick opportunity here, Louisville.
Well, this is a dangerous situation to commit a foul. And a nice job from Avant to take on the players. And to me, now this is coming from a defender's perspective, that's not a foul. She got the ball first, and Avant just kept running through. So this could be an interesting call from the referee, giving that free kick to Louisville.
Shane McGarris thought that Iordanu did commit the foul. Here's the free kick. Gabrielle Vincent, the freshman, will take it, pings it over the wall and over the bar, too. Vincent, one of 5 freshmen to spend time in the starting 11 this year for Louisville, and she started every single game for the Cardinals. Out of the Power program, McDonough School, there in Maryland. Doniak for Ruther. Vincent trying to pester Torres, and now they'll play it long, and an easy pick here for the Cardinals. Left-footed boot from Morgan Stearns, and it lands at the feet of Schaffer. Space for Torres. Smart ball wide for Iordanu. She's been having her way on this side, trying to beat Cohen. Good help defense from Vincent. talked at the top of the show, Kat, about that two-front of Virginia, and a lot of teams don't play that. What problems can it really present here for Louisville?
Well, the biggest problem is when you're a center back, you are used to defending just one player, because normally in a 4-3-3 you have a point person, 1 point top forward and 2 wing players, and so you depend on your outside backs to defend those outside players, or your midfielders to defend those. Now your center backs, you're matched 1v1, and that's difficult to adjust to, because you have to make quicker decisions and you're not used to making those decisions. So in the week leading up to this game, they really worked on that two-front system. But it's a complete change of mentality, not just for the center backs, but for the outside backs, because now they have to know whether they should come and help cover their center backs or if they should push out to the outside midfielders of Virginia. So it's something that, they just got to get to know, and you could tell that Coach Ferguson Days prepared them, but let's see how they react for the rest of this game.
Yeah, a little moment of indecision against the speed and skill level of Virginia can be very costly. McNabb not able to save it near midfield. Almost 15 minutes in to this first half, scoreless here between the Cardinals and the Cavaliers. Shelby Cohen kind of assessing the situation before the throw-in, trying to find Adoba up front.
Thanks, Brad. Aubrey. Come on down.
Brandon for McNabb.
Well, now, you can see right there, that's something that Louisville worked on as well this week. They don't want Virginia to be able to build out of the back. They are so good with their defenders with the ball, building up. That's where they start a lot of their attacks.
Counter opportunity. Through for Nadoba, and the flag up, offside. Karen Ferguson Days talked about that, trying to lock down that side and take away those balls sent to the middle. That was Exhibit A right there.
Yeah, and it definitely looks like Nadoba started offside. Good call from the referee, but you're seeing that Nadoba, she'll get to a center back, and then Aubrey Baker, the attacking mid, comes up, and then Habuda will then go to the outside back, and they're really starting to lock him into one side. And Virginia, they haven't really figured it out yet. They're going to have to make some adjustments, maybe get a few longer balls and force the Louisville defenders back a little bit more, so that allowed them some space to build up.
Foul on Louisville. So look at Betsy Brandon, one of the holding midfielders for Virginia, doing a lot of the dirty work, freshman from Littleton, Colorado. Already a goal and assist for her. One of 11 different goal scorers this year, part of this offensive arsenal that the Cavaliers can have at times in their starting 11. Beautiful give and go. Doniak decides to take it herself. Speed to the inside. Cross. That's thwarted by Vincent. Radcliffe. Another ball. Loose. Schaffer looking for shooting space. Doniak with the left foot. And it's out of play. Flag was up as well.
I love this ball in from Doniak. It's bending into the goalkeeper. Interesting call. It looked like maybe when the ball was played, Iordanu might have been onside. So referee saw it better than me, but that was close.
Come on, Shelby. There you go. Good, Shelby.
Morgan Stearns. No pressure. And the keeper sends it to midfield. Schaffer not able to control. Vincent does for Louisville. And now Stearns will have another opportunity. Morgan Stearns coming back from a hip injury that cost her about 6 months of time. Missed the entire spring. Worked her way back into full fitness here, able to play 90 minutes the last time out for Virginia. So in a good space for them. Defensively, though, one piece that's not here for Virginia, and that's Emily Sonnet, and their all-everything defender who's spending time with the U.S. Women's National Team this week. Part of the Victory Tour, was part of that group for practice all week. They played last night in Seattle, the 1-1 draw against Brazil. Another game on the docket coming up in Orlando this weekend.
When Coach Swanson said that Emily Sonnet was the best defender in the country, and that's high praise coming from assistant coach on the national team, and it's a great opportunity for her to get in with the full team. It's now they're starting to look for the Olympics and the qualifying rounds, and now she's going to get an opportunity to kind of make a statement and say, hey, put me in there. Center back is a place the United States is weak. They don't have a lot of depth, so this is a good opportunity for her to maybe make a name for herself and make the Olympic roster.
So Sonnet busy with Team USA, and that means Brianna Westrup, the freshman out of Corona Del Mar in California, gets the opportunity to step into the starting lineup like she did when Sonnet got digged up, had to come out of the Clemson game, get some stitches. Westrup came in, filled in quite admirably. Long ball, Westrup under the gun now and takes down Avant. And that will be a card to Shane McGarris, reaching into his pocket for the yellow.
It was a great ball over the top, and Westrup gets into a foot race, which you don't want to do with Rachel Avant. And that shouldn't be a call. That shouldn't be a card. She got all ball. Absolutely great play from Westrup. Just getting a toe in there before the player. No foul at all, in my opinion. Another dangerous free kick for Virginia on a controversial call.
Let's see if Louisville has the opportunity to take advantage. Bjerke up there as well with Vincent. 5-player wall for the Cavaliers. Step over. Vincent will sling it. Big save by Stearns on a rocket shot.
Well, Gabrielle Vincent, she has an excellent strike on these free kicks, and Morgan Stearns comes up with a nice save from Virginia. Smart to hit it over the top and get it out for a corner kick, because that would have been a hard one to try and catch.
So Stearns with a quality save. And now a corner here for Louisville. They'll play it short. Excellent defense by Virginia to steer that out of the play.
Well, you're just getting a sense now that Louisville, the first 5 to 10 minutes, it was tough for them. Virginia was coming at them. They were crossing it. They were getting some shots off. Nothing really on frame and dangerous. But they were in the 18-yard box really threatening. Well, now it's been all Louisville, really. They have really sustained the possession. They have not allowed Virginia to possess as much as they would like. And Louisville has really kind of outpossessed them in the last 10 to 15 minutes with smart play and smart defensive play when they do lose the ball.
Torres took it away, trying to link with Doniak. And it'll be back to the Cardinals on a Louisville throw-in. Scoreless here first half. Number 2 Virginia and Louisville. Cardinals took down number 1 team in North Carolina a handful of games ago, and trying to take it here to number 2 Virginia. We mentioned the daunting part of the schedule for Louisville. It certainly will be big this weekend as well for Virginia, with number 1 Florida State coming to town here on Sunday. We talked about Sonnet spending time with the national team. Definitely not here. Question is, would she be able to come back? They're playing Saturday in Orlando. Would she be back in time and be able to go for Virginia on Sunday? That remains to be seen. The issue for her is when you're going back and forth between 2 teams at a stretch, flag up there. That's clearly offside for Louisville. You did that when you were in North Carolina, to go to the national team, come back to your club team or college team. What's that going to be like for Emily?
Well, it's interesting because when you kind of reinsert yourself, there's a bit of an awkward period, with you and your teammates, because they just played a game or two, before while you were gone, and depending on the result here, they could have won or they could have lost, and they kind of, had that experience without you. So there is a bit of tough reinsertion there, but you know, Steve Swanson dealt with it all last year with Morgan Bryan.
Doniak turning in front. Torres looking to get free, couldn't. And now Buckland able to control for Louisville.
Going back to that, he dealt with Morgan Bryan all last year, and so did most of the players from this team. So they're used to it, and they just have to, just realize that she had an incredible opportunity. And if she's ready to play, she should play. She's one of the best defenders in the country right now in the college game, and she's a leader for this team. And they as a team want her to come back. And I just never forget my first game back. I'm a defender. I was center back for the University of North Carolina. And because the defense played so well, they put me at outside mid. I was like, what am I doing out here? And finally, I got put back in my position. So it's definitely interesting.
Service from Nadoba, and Stearns, who has had an active first half, racing out to get it. That is the thoughts of Kat Whitehill, great player at North Carolina, of course, and longtime standout for the U.S. women's national team. Jason Knapp and our fine crew here covering Louisville and Virginia here in the ACC on a picture-perfect Thursday night in Charlottesville. It makes you not want to leave again. They're going to put you in an unfamiliar spot.
I know. I was like, you know what? I like going forward a lot here, Coach Dorrance, but it's time for me to get back into my position because I had no clue what I was doing.
Lofted over the top. Cohen trying to overlap from her outside back spot, does, but the cross, she would have liked to have done better with that. Virginia will have the throw. First subs of the game coming on. Veronica Latsko will step in for Virginia, and Courtney Peterson as well. Ruther will get a breather, and Torres as well for UVA. Hannah Connerman able to control the left back for Louisville, trying to play it forward. And Nadoba can't win the battle, but it will be a Cardinal throw-in.
If and when Virginia can make that switch where they're not going multiple passes, just a long switch to the right side, that's where they've been pretty dangerous in the latter part of this first half. And the main reason is because you have Rachel Avant trying to get forward a lot more and really pressure the back line of Virginia. So there's a lot of space between Avant and Connerman of Louisville, the outside back. So that's a space that Virginia can exploit if they can complete that pass quickly.
Jill Viteri, freshman from Mason, Ohio, talked about her, saying she wasn't able to go in the starting lineup, but she does come in for Nadoba. Been batting a little bit of a stomach virus this week, and injury has been part of the story of her freshman year. Missed the first half dozen games or so with a broken foot, but has come on. Had the goal in the last game against Florida State for this Louisville team, so a player that's continuing to emerge for Karen Ferguson days in the Cardinals.
And one way that she can emerge today is to really defend well. You don't like to say that much about your forwards, but a lot of times when you come up in the club ranks, you don't have to defend for your club team because you're the best player and they just want you to score. Well, the demands are different in college, and she needs to defend today, especially against this tough Virginia defense. Excellent speed by Ratcliffe, able to beat two defenders and earns the corner for the Cavaliers. Out of Paul VI in Southern New Jersey. Had one of the 4 goals against Boston College last game here for UVA. This Virginia team over 8 corners per game, number 1 in the ACC. They earn about 3 times as many corners as their foes. Beautiful outswinger, the header, just off the frame, off the head of Latsko, just entered for Virginia. Well, if this is a planned corner kick, which it appears to be, it's excellently placed for Virginia and Latsko, and that's a difficult header coming from that, long of an area, but she did a pretty good job of getting a lot of power behind it and an opportunity to, if it had gotten a little lower, to challenge the keeper.
Iordanu able to win that wide. Megan Cox, the right back, has her pass bounce all the way forward for Donia. 53 career goals for her. Second all-time, and again, 1 point away for becoming the all-time point getter in Virginia history, tied with Angela Hucles, the Cavalier great. Question for her this year, staying healthy, was a hamstring that slowed her down after a white-hot start to the season, and it's been a quad issue that's hampered her most recently.
And we saw her warming up before the game on her own, so you can tell it's still a bit, still giving her some issues. And that was one thing that Coach Swanson wanted to see, is how much they could get out of her today and how healthy that leg was. It's just, those are one of those injuries that it's just an annoying injury because you can't really get your full stride in and get that full speed going for you.
Peterson powering down the left side, pounds it off a Louisville defender, and another corner kick coming up for Taylor Buckland in Louisville to deal with. Fans pounding on the steps here at Faulkner Stadium. Trying to provide a little audio backdrop here for the corner. Into the 6th, Vincent continues her steady work for Louisville with the header out.
Yeah, there wasn't enough runs in the box for Virginia, so Vincent had a clear on that play because the runs just were too slow. They need to be more dynamic and run after the ball and really make Vincent have to make a difficult decision in the box. And see right here, Vincent, not really anyone there until late to really challenge for the ball. You want to get in front of the ball, in front of your defender, and that's all about timing your runs and getting that quick change of pace to beat your defender.
Giordano swerving one in. And again, nobody home for Virginia. Now Avant trying to counter back, ridden off nicely by Radcliffe. Let's go. Sent far post. Vincent continues to win balls in the air. Peterson flings one far side. The header back and taken off the foot of Doniak. Another centering ball, and that one angling through the area. And out of play for a goal kick.
This is Peterson again getting down that left side, and an excellent play back from outside back Megan Cox. That's sophisticated play because you're not in a shooting position. You want to head it back so that one of your teammates has an opportunity in front of the goal, and Louisville got on the end of that before Doniak got a shot off.
Allison Price made a good play to take it off the foot of Doniak before she could pull the trigger. Kayla Dickerman coming in to give a little bit of a breather to Pabuda for Louisville.
Come on,
Dickerman, sophomore from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, getting a touch as she gets on the pitch here. Under 15 minutes left to go. First half, still scoreless between Louisville and Virginia. Giordano. 1v2. Virginia will keep it. Space in the throw-in for Brent. Westrup. Good wide ball. Doniak. And again, taken away. Price with another nice read for Louisville. Giordano retreating back to her spot along the back four to help break it up. And the Cavaliers on the move again. Doniak, edge of the area, slides it wider. Low cross. First touch from Caroline Kimball to help steer it away for the Cardinals. But Virginia relentless here in the last couple of minutes. Cross over everybody of a Virginia nature. We've seen that little pendulum swing go back in the way of Virginia like it was the first handful of minutes of this game. Louisville settled down, and now clearly it's been the Cavaliers' pace of play here the last handful of minutes.
Well, a lot of that has to do with the lack of pressure on the back four of Virginia. Since Nadoba went out and Vitteri's come in, they just haven't really pressurized nearly as much as they did in the middle part of this first half, which is when they were the most successful. They need to go back and find their times to press this back line and win the ball in danger spots for their attack rather than being forced back in the back and just having to blindly clear the ball.
Westrup will head it back for Stearns. Looked like there may have been a slight miscalculation there, but it worked out okay for the Cavs. Doniak can't reach that pass forward. Still, it'll be Virginia ball.
This is Westrup filling in for Sonnet, and didn't need to do that header. Morgan Stearns needs to talk to her and tell her that she has the ball. Westrup is still a defender that's learning, and she needs more communication, and that's what you want from your goalkeeper, just to calm him down. And fortunately, nothing happened for Virginia there.
Radcliffe trying to run onto that. Goal kick coming up off of Radcliffe, and that was Bjerke there defending.
One thing that's amazing to me about this Virginia team is we haven't even really talked about that they don't have Morgan Bryan and they don't have Danielle Colaprico, two of the best midfielders in the country. Morgan Bryan won a World Cup with the U.S. this past summer. Colaprico was NWSL Rookie of the Year for her team, Chicago Red Stars, and they're both not here, and yet it seems like this Virginia team hasn't even missed a beat, and a lot of that is Alexis Schaffer has really stepped up for this team in the attacking midfielder, and Betsy Brandon as well has stepped up in a defensive role, and she's been linking the team really well between the defense and the offense, and you know that just shows you that Virginia just keeps getting the recruits, and Steve Swanson keeps continuing to develop them.
And Steve Swanson talked to us when we chatted with him this week about how that pair, when you sent a ball to them, they handled pressure so well. Even if you sent them a bad ball, they dealt with it and made it better. And some of these Virginia players, even though they're in different roles, are starting to have some of those traits.
They are, and that's what he was talking about, putting a full 90 minutes together. Is those players, you know, when they get sent a bad ball, figuring out how to get out of it, spin out of it, and make something for the Virginia attack, and they're starting to develop those skills, and like we keep talking about, they're peaking at the right time.
Third corner of the half here for Virginia. Westrup, the closest player. Back for Peterson. She'll take a left-footed crack. And that was ticketed just wide. So the freshman from Canton, Michigan, another newcomer to Virginia this year, looking for her fourth goal of the season.
It's yet another corner kick for Virginia. They have so many of them, and they continue to do that. And good decision at the top of the box just to lay it off to Peterson. It's a great strike, just wasn't able to keep it on frame.
Peterson again. And yet another corner here for the Cavaliers. Now speaking of Danielle Colaprico, able to check out her old haunt here in Virginia, see the current crop of Cavaliers. Going to win a phenomenal year for the Red Stars in Chicago, the NWSL. Buckland able to track it and punch it out. And we'll do it again corner kick wise, this time from the far side.
Buckland comes out confident. That's what you want from keeper. Strong punch there, and Megan Cox of Virginia needs to be careful because she could have gotten called for a foul there. You always want to protect the goalkeeper.
Less than 9 minutes left to go in this opening 45 minutes. Virginia trying to crack Louisville. Tough ball right on the edge of the goal line. And the call here against Virginia.
Again, Buckland comes out strong, and looks like Doniak gets called for the foul, but it looked like she got pushed into the goalkeeper. But I like the call there. Like I said, you like to protect the goalkeeper, and those kind of tussles, you got to give it to the goalkeeper on that.
Another call coming up here in favor of the Cavaliers.
And you can look at the screen. Look, all the Louisville players are on this left side. If Virginia could just switch it quickly to their right side, they have so much time and space.
Haven't seen too many of those balls cross field. We've seen them from midfield like this one trying to swing it to the outside.
They're just not getting there. They're seeing it. They need to have a better ball and put it out to their player, not so much into the space that it's a 50-50 ball between the outside back and the outside mid.
McNabb, kind of the unsung hero, according to Steve Swanson, for this Virginia team, playing alongside Sonnet normally at the center back spot. You've got a player that's vying for time with the U.S. women's national team. Sometime you go or get a little overshadowed. But McNabb rock steady for Virginia. On the attack. Peterson, low ball. Doniak, left-footed shot, blocked in front. Schaffer, nifty work. Peterson earns one more corner for the Cavaliers.
They might get close to hitting their season average just in the first half. They've had so many. Now is when they need to focus. They've had so many corner kicks, and Louisville's done a nice job of defending them. Now they need to finish it, and they need to get one on frame. They just haven't really challenged them as much as they should.
And they average more than 8 corners per game. They've had 6 corners in the last 13 minutes. It's felt kind of like half-field soccer here in that last stretch with Virginia dominating possession. But so far, they have not solved the Louisville defense. Buckland and her defensive crew had handled all comers on those corners. And Buckland pushed by Paige Brown this year. Goaltending battle for a while for Louisville before the Michigan transfer has earned the starting job. There's been a rare surge down here for the Cardinals the last 15-20 minutes.
But remember, they had their best opportunity of the game against the run of play. So if they can try and get that again, who knows what could happen. But now Virginia looks like they have the ball back.
Center of the park, Westrup. Near side, McNabb. And played that ball to the outside. And Peterson couldn't save it.
Peterson needs to do a better acting job. She needs to act like she saved it, because it looked like the referee wasn't going to raise his flag until she kind of walked away as if it went out of bounds.
Get Jill. Get Jill. Fighter. Caroline, step.
Stearns trying to distribute herself. Bjerke can't find Yvonne, but last touch by Virginia. Virginia, one of 7 teams in the ACC ranked to the top 25 this week in Powerhouse Conference. And Louisville in season number 2 of the ACC, learning what it's like to compete week in, week out in a conference with the talent and the depth. Again, the last 4 games for Louisville, they face teams that are currently all ranked in the top 25, and when they've played them, they've been ranked number 1, and number 2, with Duke thrown in the mix as well.
That's tough, and they've done well. And if they can get a result today, their schedule looks a lot better for them going forward. And it could, the top 4 are the only ones that go to the ACC tournament, but it's quite a cluster in there, except for really Florida State and Virginia. So you never really know what could happen, and Louisville could maybe sneak into that 4th spot, but the key for them now is to get above 500 and to get an NCAA spot and try and get to the tournament, because they're at the same time Virginia's starting to peak, Louisville's starting to play a lot better because a lot of their youth is starting to understand the demands that is ACC and the demands of college soccer.
Karen Ferguson days, 4 NCAA trips during your time, 16 seasons at Louisville, including a run to the Sweet 16 in 2011. That last NCAA trip 2 years ago. And again, you understand what it's like here in conference for these teams. In the standings right now, Florida State, the only unbeaten squad, do have that tie. Virginia lurking there, number 2 in the rankings. And all those other teams in their rankings and where they stand in the standing.
They looked really far down there, but if you saw where North Carolina was, who's in the top 10 in the country, they have 3 losses, and Louisville has 3 losses. And, if it has to go to head-to-head, well, Louisville wins that, and they go above North Carolina. So it's, you just never know what could happen in the ACC. It's just such a tough conference, and every team just continues to get better, and adding Louisville has only helped the conference.
Peterson, left-footed ball, and the shot attempt won. Montana Sutton getting some time here, latter stages, first half, freshman from Bedminster, New Jersey, with that shot won. And you're looking for this conference, at least 6 teams to the NCAAs in 16 straight years, including 9 in 2011 and 2012. And again, we mentioned 7 of the top 25, the rankings right now, but wouldn't be surprised to see that 8-9 push again this year with the depth this year with Louisville and some others kind of stepping it up this year.
Yeah, I kind of suspect 9 teams in there because now Clemson is back to being a top team, and they've been struggling for a couple of years, and Boston College is doing a lot better, and they missed out last year. So the ACC is looking a lot tougher this year than they were last year, that's for sure. So I could see them sneaking in a 9th team.
Corner here for the Cavaliers with a minute and change left to go first half. Along the goal line and into the side netting. Taylor Buckland and the Louisville defense looking like they're on their way to being dead even here with Virginia through the first 45. Counter chance, Viteri trying to slide it across. That was actually Dickerman who had the touch for Avant.
It was the right look for Avant, just too hard on the ball, because that could have been dangerous. Avant was making a nice run in between the 2 defenders of Virginia, and with her speed, she could have easily gotten in behind.
10-9.
Final seconds here for Virginia. And that one to the side of the net. Scoreless here for the Cavaliers and Louisville. Team's going to retreat to the locker room, get a little break, listen to their head coaches talk up some strategy for the second 45, and then we'll play on here between Louisville and Virginia. And Steve Swanson, the head coach of the Cavaliers, joining us. Scoreless here with Louisville. Steve, what did you like about your performance in the first half?
Well, I thought we did some good things, moving the ball, getting the ball in certain areas, but we just don't have a lot of penetration right now, enough to get quality chances. So they're organized, they're putting a lot of numbers behind the ball, and I think we just need to be a little bit sharper in our ball movement, especially when we get it to the flank, and see if we can't create some better chances where we get a little better look at goal.
In the middle part of the first half, it seemed like Louisville had a little bit more of the run of play. A lot of that was the pressure of the backs. How do you kind of talk to your center backs and outside backs with how to deal with that kind of pressure?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's sometimes where we're trying to play, maybe where we shouldn't play in the back, and I think our forwards got to recognize that as well, and maybe use that option to bypass their forwards and their midfielders, get it up to our front runners. We just didn't recognize that soon enough, and we got caught kind of with our heads down playing short rather than maybe looking over the top of that.
Steve, Emily Sonnet not with you tonight. How do you think your back fours handled her not being there?
Not bad. I mean, Emily you can see, she covers for a lot of things for us. So, but I thought Brianna Westbrook did a nice job. She's a pretty composed player, and with the exception of that a couple free kicks and the long range shot, and the one time we let him get behind us, I thought for the most part we held him in check. So,
Steve, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Steve Swanson of Virginia, his team in a scoreless battle here with Louisville. The Cardinals probably feeling good about themselves. Karen Ferguson, Days and company trying to get a result on the road. Back with more coming up from Charlottesville in a moment. Scoreless here between Louisville and Virginia.
ACC Soccer is brought to you by the official corporate champions of the ACC, Bojangles, Haviland, and Food Lion.
Thursday night in Charlottesville, Virginia. Picture-perfect night for anything outdoors under the lights. College soccer, this is a good one. Number 2, Virginia, in a scoreless draw so far with Louisville. The Cardinals trying to pull the surprise. Virginia looking to defend its home turf. Second half action just around the corner here from Charlottesville. Basket all broken out, and some soccer as well. A little refreshment and a little break for us as well here. Louisville to Virginia scoreless at halftime. Hi again, Jason App here with Kat Whitehill, former U.S. Women's National Team standout in North Carolina Tar Heel. If you're Louisville right now, boy, you got to exhale a little bit. You kind of withstood that early storm, and you're right in this game.
Absolutely. There was a barrage of Virginia opportunities, but no real good chances for them. And a lot of that is because Louisville was ready, and they didn't panic too much, and they were able to clear the ball. And then they did maintain some of the possession in the first half.
Steve Swanson talking about maybe some better quality chances for his team, but really good quality looks here for Louisville again at the outset.
Well, this was against the run of play, and Allison Price just decided to take her on her own, and wow, what a strike from her. Would have been out of the reach of Morgan Stearns had it been a little bit inside the frame, and Morgan Stearns comes up big time against a Gabrielle Vincent free kick.
In the meantime, for Virginia, again, the flank play was there, but not able to really shake anybody free in the middle of the box.
Yeah, it was mainly all on the left side for Virginia. It was Iordanu. Here it's Kylie Torres, and they get into the box. They find Doniak open. Ratcliffe has an excellent opportunity, but still nothing on frame for Virginia. They just were finding the outside flanks, but they weren't penetrating nearly enough. So the chances they got just were difficult because there were so many Louisville players inside the box that they just couldn't get a clean look on anything. And yet again, another corner kick for Virginia.
Yeah, they had a bevy of corners. Again, all 7 of those coming in the last 20 minutes or so of the half. Not able to part that Red Sea, if you will, inside the area as Louisville, again, sent a bunch of numbers inside the box.
Yeah, I mean, 0-0, 8 shots to 3. You would think that Virginia would have that lead, but honestly, the 3 shots that Louisville got were more dangerous than the 8 that Virginia did.
Virginia soccer, oh so tough to beat here at home. Can Louisville do it? Will we stay tied, or can the Cavaliers pull ahead? We'll find out coming up. Here at Virginia, and Louisville head coach Karen Ferguson Days with us. Karen, talk to me about that first 45 minutes. What did you like about your team's performance?
Yeah, I'm pleased with the way we played defensively. The only adjustment I think we need to make is when our front 3 are pressing on, our midfielders were a little bit too deep and not pressed on. That's how they were kind of solving it. And then also when our midfielders were pressed on, our back line was a little bit too deep. So overall, we just have to tighten up from front line to back line defensively. But I think we're doing a good job.
Karen, thanks.
Thank you.
So the fans settling in here for this second half. Again, Louisville got to be feeling good about themselves for Karen Ferguson Days building this program at Louisville. And it's not the only soccer program they talk about in the Ferguson Days household. Her husband, Hilton Days, longtime head coach of the Cincinnati men's program. She's got the better of the deal. He makes the commute most times from Louisville, about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes to Cincinnati. Somehow it all works out. They can talk soccer if they want, or not talk soccer if they want.
Well, they said they do talk soccer, but I bet you it's very limited because they talk soccer enough. They probably just want a breather when they get at home. But it's nice that you can, talk about different coaching styles and, and different difficulties that you go through as a head coach. An interesting tandem, that's for sure. They make it work, so it's good.
The Cincinnati men, 3-3 entertaining draw at home against Memphis last night. And it's been less of a scoring affair here in Virginia, but a deadlock nonetheless for Karen Ferguson Days and the Cardinals against second-ranked Virginia. Ready to go here, second half. The whistle from Shane McGarris, and we're back under play. And the Cavaliers in the white uniforms with the orange and blue trim here at home, and the red and black for Louisville on the road. Giordano pressing up here early. Good sliding tackle from Caroline Kimball to negate that run for Virginia.
Well, when we talked to Coach Ferguson Days at the beginning of this half, she talked about how her team needs to step up together, and I could hear him in the first half really screaming at each player to step in and help defend. And that's where they were the most successful. In that middle part of the first half, it's when they were hitting all cylinders defensively, not allowing Virginia to build up out of the back.
Radcliffe trying to chip it forward. And Louisville lets that one cross the end line for the goal kick.
And the key for Virginia is exactly what Coach Swanson talked about. They're getting outside, they're getting the crosses in, but now they need to penetrate more. And where they're going to do that is with Ruther and Doniak up front. The two strikers have yet to really combine with each other, and they haven't combined extremely well with their outside mids and the center mids. So they need to start to do that a little bit more. The more they can penetrate in the middle, they'll continue to find the wide spaces, but now you allow your playmakers to spin someone and have an individual effort. And that's where someone like Mackenzie Doniak is so dangerous.
And again, this Virginia team can score in bunches, averaging over 3 goals per game. Again, 40 in their first 13 games of the year. And they've only allowed 8 in that stretch. Finally, trickles over the end line. It's a goal kick here for Virginia. One save for Morgan Stearns in that first half, but boy, it was a biggie on the free kick from Vincent that was ticketed for the upper corner. Played forward, Doniak trying to find space to the edge of the 18, cuts back. Louisville again with numbers. Played wide, Radcliffe, centering ball. Off of Vincent, now pounded high, about 30 yards out.
And that was an interesting hesitation from Doniak on that last play. She had all of the defenders of Louisville beat based on her position, but she didn't take the one touch that she needed to take to beat the back line, and it allowed the whole Louisville back four to get back. Virginia didn't really get a good look on goal yet again, and whether that's Doniak's injury or confidence, it's something that she really needs to figure out, because normally she would have just run past that back four.
But is that too trying to get a good chance as opposed to a chance in that situation with that run, because she was angling away from the goal?
Yeah, maybe she was a little bit too patient. I just would like to see someone like Doniak just completely take over. You saw it with Allison Price and the individual effort in the first half from Louisville. She just decided to take it herself. She took a strike, and you know what? It was an excellent opportunity for Louisville, and Doniak just has not done that yet today, and that was a good opportunity for her just to get a touch and stretch her legs and show her speed against a bit of a slower Louisville back line.
It's a free kick, Virginia. See that two-player wall for Louisville extended outside the 18. And a quick touch for Virginia, so they'll play it. Radcliffe. Good step up by Avant. Connerman sliding down.
That was a good track from Sutton of Virginia, because Avant if Sutton hadn't come over, it would have been a 1v1 with Virginia because they had so many numbers forward.
Westbrook to the wrong side of McNabb, with plenty of time and space to retreat and recover. Good anticipation for the Louisville D. Baker slotting one forward. And Stearns will calmly play it out.
And that's that unsung hero that Coach Swanson was talking about from McNabb. That was a foot race, but she put herself in the better position. She didn't allow for Louisville to get around her body, and she was easily able to play it back to Stearns.
See the junior from Montville, New Jersey. Avant trying to beat Cox. Cox able to turn. Thump it upfield. Nadoba. Ridden off. Fans here thought that she grabbed the jersey of Montana Sutton, but it is a Louisville throw-in.
You can see here, he definitely missed yet another foul. Referee struggling a bit tonight with seeing it clearly.
Radcliffe. Ridden off. Connerman with a nice play. Baker looking to slot it wide for Hubuda. The sophomore from Ontario centers it. Nadoba with assistance from Price, but neither one able to shake free.
And that was a good step up from Shelby Cohen, the outside back for Louisville. That's what Coach Ferguson Days was talking about, linking her midfield and defenders when they are trying to prevent Virginia from building out of the back. And you can see now Louisville's won it, and they're in a good attacking shape.
Centering ball. Westrup with a calm header. Cohen tried to get a through ball going, nothing doing. Sutton fouled. And a little conversation here between Shane McGarris and Aubrey Baker. Baker transfer from Maryland. This is her 1 year on the field for Louisville. Aaron Ferguson Days talking about having a player that really has some ACC seasoning and the most of any player on her team. And it's an understanding. Clearly, there are talented players for Louisville, but a lot of them recruited to come in when they're either in the Big East or the American in their time in those two conferences before moving to the ACC. And every conference is recruiting for a little bit different style of play, different pace, and again, trying to get up to speed here in the ACC.
It was something that Coach Ferguson Days talked a lot about, and you can tell that it's a concern of hers. And, you know, you're right, it's different in every league, but when it comes to the ACC, you know, they've just been tops in the country for so long. And now not only does she have to have more athletic and sophisticated players because of this league, but the good news is she's getting those recruits because being in the ACC allows you to get more looks and to have different types of players come into your university and want to play against the best. And so that's what she's looking for, and she wants to combine a little bit of every conference now that she has on this team to figure out how to play in this league that she's in now.
And certainly getting all those players to continue to rise their level of play. You always want your players to be better than when they arrived on campus, and certainly all of them have accepted this challenge of stepping up in class, if you will. And they have performed quite well with some impressive results in their first 2 years in conference.
Well, I've been the most impressed today as they buy into what Coach Ferguson Days says. When she wants them to press, they go and press. They're not trying to be on their own because they know she knows what she's talking about. And when they do exactly what she's talking about, we saw it in the middle of the first half. When they press Virginia at the right time and they read those cues of when they should to transition and when they should defend, they have been successful. And that's what they need to keep learning from her and keep listening to her, because this is still a young team learning the ropes of just college soccer, but especially the ACC.
And 2 NCAA trips last 4 years for Louisville. Again, coming from different conferences. Turnover, Virginia. And Baker, well under it, flies it wide.
Well, that's one of those situations where Virginia tried to play it out of the back, and there was too much pressure. They need to just clear it. They just need to clear the lines. There's 3 Louisville players defending 2 Virginia players, and it's a dangerous opportunity, a dangerous position on the field, and Virginia's very fortunate that nothing really came from it.
1 goal in the season for Baker. We talked about Virginia and scoring bevy of goals and balance all over the field. Louisville's had that as well. They've had a number of players score this year, but nobody has more than 2. And again, it's kind of fit into how this team goes about its business. Ruther turning it in front. Open goal. And the delay there, and Doniak not able to get enough steam on it.
Well, and Doniak just doesn't miss these opportunities very often, so you can tell that injury's been a little bit of an issue, but Ruther does an excellent job of getting in line, finds Doniak wide open, and it was almost a swing and a miss. She just barely clipped it with the bottom of her cleat, and nothing difficult for Buckland there.
Cohen was the defender that came out to try to influence the shot, but Doniak was not a clean strike. Counter chance for Louisville, and it leads to the corner. Look at Stearns trying to set her defense. Just 5 in the box for Louisville. Virginia had the numbers there as they play it back out, and that secondary ball, a miss hit. Now Virginia has the chance to counter break. Doniak. They push her wide. Left-footed ball into the area. Sutton for Radcliffe. Radcliffe looking to turn, and that'll generate a corner for Virginia.
Well, that all started from a bad corner kick from Louisville. Poor decision to play the ball back as far as they did. They didn't get a good strike on it. Virginia was out and running, and that's dangerous for Louisville. They can't allow counterattacks in a situation where they're looking to find a goal.
Centering ball, Radcliffe. Ruther pulled it down and then pulled the shot wide. Had time enough to settle and crank with the left.
Well, an excellent opportunity here from Ruther. She had time to just take a little touch and look at all that space, but yet she puts it over the goal, not even close to being on frame. She has to get over the ball and try and get a low-driven ball far post. Needs to be a better effort there from Ruther. She's the kind of player that can finish those opportunities. It's just a little bit of lack of focus at the very end of the strike.
Kai Torres, Betsy Brandon both back in for Virginia. Iordanu stepping out, so too does Montana Sutton. Brandon forward. Ruther. Peterson. Dangerous ball just lurking there about 8 yards out. Virginia couldn't link onto it. Torres, the back heel not there. And Louisville relieves the pressure for the moment. Radcliffe, that quick first step, gives her a multitude of opportunities. Header. Virginia will have the chance to save it. Ruther. Goal kick coming up Louisville. You know, it's interesting, Kat, as you look at these Louisville subs coming on. Viteri returning. Dickerman as well. Avant and Nadoba will step out for the moment, but Steve Swanson told us right now either our execution is right but the decisions are wrong, or the decision is right and the execution is wrong, and you get the sense that's what this team is, what we're seeing from Virginia right now.
It's exactly what we just saw in that last few minutes of play. They have good patience, but then they don't know when to penetrate, and when they do penetrate, they don't really know where to go once they make a good pass into an attacking area. And Ruther had an opportunity. It was a great ball in from Brandon from the defensive midfield role. She turned. She had a ton of time, but then she didn't really know where to go with it, and she made a decision to go out wide, and then it was played around, and they're not executing when they do have the service, and then they're not, like you said, making the right decisions when the decision presents itself every time.
Still getting a ton of chances, and that goes with his theme. If we are getting results, even though we're not playing at the level maybe that this Virginia team, that the number 2 team in the country is used to. And credit a lot of that, too, to Louisville, that have made a lot of the right decisions defensively.
Yeah, they've been smart defensively. They haven't panicked, because in that situation, a lot of times you kind of lose your shape. That's what Virginia was trying to do. The defense was bring them out of shape and find the pockets of space. But Louisville stayed home. They kept their shape. But now, Virginia just needs to execute better. They're getting chances, but none of them have been that threatening.
Price trying to turn it, and that's broken up by Cox.
And Megan Cox, she can play outside back, she can play center back, and she just uses her strength, completely knocks Louisville off the ball there. Just smart play from a defender. Just, you don't have to tackle every time because she won the ball back just from utilizing her strength.
Almost 20 minutes into the second half, much like the first. Scoreless here between the Cardinals and Virginia. Long ball for Ruther. Radcliffe, with her good wheels, will get there first, and Virginia will keep it via the throw-in. Booming service, but too much power on that. Nobody home for the Cavaliers that far. Westrup will have the opportunity to play it back for Morgan Stearns. Well, Virginia 7-1 at home this year. That lone loss, historic one, snapped a 38-match home unbeaten streak. Win streak for Virginia, 2-1 here to Notre Dame. And able to come back for the first time in a good stretch. Been almost a month since the last home affair here for Virginia. Louisville trying to do what many teams don't. That's come out of here with a result from Klockner Stadium. Shelby Cohen. Off the cut inside. Baker doing a lot of the grunt work for Louisville in that holding midfield position. And that ball looked more dangerous than it was, as defensively Virginia was spot on.
I do like this ball. You're right. It's a dangerous ball because it's going behind the back line. You're running towards your goal, but well done from Stearns to come out, make it look like an easy save. Virginia, nice defensively with marking in the box and not allowing for any Louisville player to cut in front.
That's McNabb again.
It's coming, Bryce. It's coming right.
Defensively, sturdy there along that back four. Again, Virginia without Emily Sonnet. They're all-everything defender, again spending time with the U.S. women's national team during their victory tour. Not sure if she'll return after Team USA's game in Orlando against Brazil on Saturday for Virginia's epic duel with #1 Florida State on Sunday. But first things first, Cavaliers need to handle their business here against Louisville.
And honestly, at this point for Virginia, because of the opportunities they've created for themselves, they're getting wide, they're getting nice crosses in, they just need an individual effort. Whether that's from Ruther, whether that's from Doniak or Ratcliffe or Alexis Schaffer, someone just, take a player 1v1, just decide you want to be the difference in this game. And Louisville, they've had a couple of players that have done a nice job of kind of putting it on their backs. They just haven't been able to finish it. Now can Virginia do it? They've had the better looks. They just haven't really gotten enough and put Buckland under pressure nearly enough.
Ratcliffe gets a step on her defender. Cuts back inside. Ruther, dummy run. Doniak right into the belly of Buckland.
Well, this is excellent play from Ratcliffe. Beats her defender 1v1, just like we were talking about. A little 1v1 individual flair. Well, great decision from Ruther there to dummy. She knew that Doniak was there, but then again, Doniak wide open, has plenty of time to look up, get a good look on frame, and gives it right to Taylor Buckland of Louisville. And you just have to think that when you do deal with an injury, as a goal scorer, you like to get into a rhythm when you have a season going, and when you get an injury, you kind of get out of that rhythm, and it seems like she's trying to get it back and might be just trying just a little too hard and overthinking when she's in the penalty area. As a natural goal scorer, you just don't think, you finish.
Again, she started lights out, according to Steve Swanson, beginning of the year. And then hamstring injury hurt her on a West Coast trip. Only played one half combined against UCLA and Pepperdine. That got healed. And then it was a quad injury for the Clemson game. Missed Clemson and Wake Forest. Back last game against Boston College, had a goal and an assist. Both of those in the first 7 minutes as they opened strong at Boston College. But again, it's just not seemed as crisp as we're used to seeing from her so far here in this one.
Well, they feel like she's fit. She played the full 45 minutes in the first half, so she must be feeling good. She's just trying to get that rhythm back and that goal-scoring edge that a player like her typically has.
McNabb can't save it. Throw in Louisville, and the chance for the Cardinals to go to the bench. Virginia as well. Hannah Harris, the junior, will come in. Latsko and Iordanu both returning for Virginia. It's Habuda checking out for Louisville. And Peterson comes off along with Ruther for the Cavaliers. Price roaming in, taken down. Louisville's been dangerous on restarts, and they'll have another crack.
It's a similar area that the fouls have been in the first half, and that one, I will say, it looks like Ratcliffe did get a clip on the heel. Good call that time from the referee, but this is dangerous. Gabrielle Vincent is dangerous on these free kicks. This is a different angle, though. The others came from, right side, kind of trying to curve or, get it on a different angle. So this might be a little bit easier for Vincent here.
Bjerke will take that one just over top of the bar.
Or Bjerke. Vincent didn't take that one, but she should have.
They had a little conversation about it, and then it was the sophomore from Norway. And Stearns had it tracked.
And then it's that point in the second half where some people are getting some fresh legs so they can return in the second half based on college rules. So Ruther just came out. They want her to be fresh at the end of the game. Same with Abuda from Louisville.
Connerman. Westrup with a battle. Radcliffe. Room to roam. Down the near sideline. Cuts it back. Price retreating on defense. Brandon. Left-footed ball. Looking for Doniak.
Well, that was a good run from Ratcliffe, but Latsko and Doniak made the same runs. She didn't really have anyone to play with and combine off of. That's where the communication needs to be better. It should be coming from Doniak telling Latsko, you check in, I'll go in behind, or vice versa. And they just made the same run, and so Ratcliffe was out on the wing all by herself.
Throw-in coming from Cox. See as this morphs into a de facto corner kick flicked on. Shot blocked in the area. It'll be another throw-in for Cox. And this one quickly to the ground. Latsko trying to knife back inside. Keeps possession. Brandon looking for space. Radcliffe. Couple of touches. Pings the ball towards the area. And again, Louisville withstanding the challenge. Counter for Harris. And Harris called for the foul. Quick restart for Cox. Schaffer. Doniak, the turn. And again, every time Doniak turns, there seems to be 1, 2, 3 Louisville jerseys. And now Virginia will have a restart gem here outside the area.
Yeah, Hannah Harris looks like she goes over the top of Ratcliffe's shoulder, brings her down. Good call from the referee. And this is really the first dangerous free kick that Virginia's had today.
Off the wall and out. Corner coming up. Power there from Schaffer.
That's an awkward angle to take that kind of free kick. Maybe a little chip over. Try and see if you can get some of your attacking players to run and head it.
9th corner of the game, second of the second half for Virginia. Schaffer, the service into the net. Headed home for the Cavaliers. Fans here loving it at Virginia. And Brianna Westrup up from her spot of the back line, filling in for Emily Sonnet, picks a fine time to check in with her first career goal.
Well, this is the individual effort I was talking about. She got up and she beat her defender. It's an excellent ball in from Schaffer. She gives her players an opportunity to win the ball, and she decided she wanted to, and she did. And what a goal from Westrup. That's a way to step in for a national team player leaving. That's a way to prove that you should get some more playing time.
And in that pile afterwards, her teammates seem to be looking like they're trying to stretch her out. So the goal scored, and now the freshman from California down for the moment.
She got a cramp.
So here's another look.
And this was a better job of attacking the ball from Virginia. We haven't seen really much from their corner kicks today, But Westrup gets up, and Louisville just got caught ball watching and didn't even see Westrup in behind and wasn't able to challenge for that ball.
They're trying to get her to smile as she walks off just a bit gingerly here after scoring the goal here for the Cavaliers. 73rd minute for the freshman.
Cavalier goal scored by number 27, Brianna Westrup, her first career goal. Assisted by Alexis Shepard at the 73-minute mark.
Nice moment again. Enormous shoes to fill for her in Emily Sonnet again with Team USA this week. That's a nice feeling, got to be for her.
Oh, that is an excellent feeling. She's going to remember that goal for a very long time. I remember my first goal, but you know, it wasn't to that magnitude, that is for sure. And you know, you step in, and there's a lot of question marks surrounding, you know, how is she going to play against a tough Louisville team? Well, defensively, she's played extremely well, and now offensively, she's added a little spark to that. So that's a great way to put an exclamation point on a start that, you know, they really needed her to come through for.
Avant is back in for Louisville as Harris checks out. And Westrup looks like she's headed towards the locker room, maybe to get a little bit more treatment.
Quite an acrobatic flip after she scored too, so a lot going on after that goal.
Courtney Peterson has subbed in for Westrup at one of the center back spots.
Actually, Megan Cox, outside back, has come in. She's played at center back before for Virginia. She did a little bit last year. They said, Coach Swanson said she can play center back or outside back. She seems to just be a little bit better at the outside back position, but it's nice that you can have a player of Cox's means to just step in and leadership, and she can just easily fill in where Westrup left.
And Cox has indeed come in. It's Peterson taking Cox's spot over at left back right now, and Virginia feeling a bit frisky after that initial tally. Dipping shot from Schaffer.
Well, I like it. That's what you need to do if you're Virginia. Giordano finds Schaffer up front, you know, just a little touch and then shoot. That's what you've got to do when you have a defense like Louisville that's really put a lot of numbers behind the ball. Long range shooting is key. That penetrating ball is key, and you had a little bit of both right there for Virginia. And you know, now they're getting a little bit more confidence now that they have that first goal under their belt.
15 minutes left now for Louisville. You've played Virginia even here. Now you're down a goal. How does that change the dynamics here for what Karen Ferguson-Hayes and the Cardinals want to do? How do they try to get that equalizer? You
got to start taking risks. You can't bring back as many players. You have to, you know, it looks like they might be putting one defensive mid and two attacking mids now. You just got to start flying numbers forward. And one of the things that Louisville hasn't done today is they haven't had a lot of opportunity to bring a ton of numbers forward, because when they do get the ball up, it's a slow progression because you only have one player up. They have to hold the ball. Now it's time you just keep players high. Don't ask them to come back nearly as much and help your defense.
See if the Cards can mount a challenge here.
Come on, Rachel. Come on, Rachel.
By doing that, though, the game is going to completely open up, and Virginia has a lot of quality players that can really make you pay. So their defense now really has to stay mentally focused, and they have to accept the challenge that they're going to be in more 1v1 duels rather than having a lot of cover.
Cox slots it up for Radcliffe. Touch forward. Giordano on the overlap. Nobody came to stop her, so she pulled the trigger but shot it into a defender. Louisville trying to find some counter magic. Chipped forward. It's onside. Stearns opted not to come out. Cut back in front. And Cox able to clear it out.
I can't believe Stearns didn't come out. That should have been an easy scoop for Stearns. She was absolutely onside. I was watching it the whole time. Good call from the referee. And here, this should have been Stern's ball all day. But she stays on the line and makes it a much more interesting play for Virginia's defense. They're running towards their goal. You need your goalkeeper to come up and just make it an easy play for your team.
See the flurry of subs returning, including Habuda and Baker for Louisville. Sutton back on, and Ruther as well for Virginia here in the latter stages of the second half. Brandon and Doniak both taking a seat here for UVA. Patiri of Louisville had the goal against Florida State. See if she can be a player to get involved here for a possible equalizer for the Cardinals.
And she can be. She's the type of player that she's a goal scorer. She hasn't developed into be a major goal scorer yet for Louisville. She has a lot of potential in that area, but they have to find her in better positions. She's just too far away from the goal, and they're asking her to be 1 and 2 Virginia defenders.
Kimball. Easy play for Stearns.
Time. Play it.
Radcliffe been everywhere, hits the deck. Louisville playing on.
She might be a small player, but she is tough, and she's just going after it with 2 Louisville defenders. I like the no call from the referee there.
Price was the one that got tangled up with Radcliffe. Cohen. And Stearns had it tracked all the way. The junior from San Antonio, Texas. Been shared some time with Jessie Ferrari early in the season as she worked back from the hip injury that cost her 5-6 months of time and training. And again, really rounding into form for Virginia at the most important time of the season.
And spring is so important in developing your game, especially in college. It's one of those moments that you can get a lot of time with the coaches, a lot of individual moments, and a lot better training because you're not having to prepare for the games. And it's definitely a tough time to miss for Stearns, and it's good to see her really starting to come back for this Virginia team.
And off the last 2 runs to the College Cup, including that run to the national final a year ago. Under 10 left. Virginia trying to look for its 12th win in 14 tries this year. And Louisville looking for its second surprise against a top 5 opponent. Took down then number 1 North Carolina. And in a battle here with number 2 Virginia. Brianna Westrup with the goal, 73rd minute. That's the difference maker right now. Baker playing it back. Habuda. No definitive series of passes for Louisville right now in the offensive end.
Well, this is where it's tough to go down to Virginia. Their bread and butter is their possession, and they're so good at keeping it and the quick 1 and 2 touch passes, and it just is so difficult to try and win that ball back. So when you do win the ball back, you have to make an incredible opportunity of it. And right now Louisville is just running defensively, and they just can't keep the ball for more than a couple of passes, and Virginia just wins it back immediately, and then they keep it for a long period of time. It's a bit disheartening from a defender's perspective.
Go.
Giordano playing it forward. Louisville with the stop, looking to build on the other end. Down to the corner, and that's fine for Virginia. They can just let it trickle down there, kill some more clock. And Viteri going to help pass it over there to Stearns. And Virginia, I think they've been looking forward to Saturday for a while. Get another crack at the team that kept the Cavaliers from the national title a year ago. And the 1 versus 2 showdown is coming up later this weekend. And the clock is stopped here. Shane McGarris feeling the need to come down and have a conversation with Morgan Stearns. That's something along the lines of, I'd rather not see everything out of the waste time playbook here in the final 7 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like, if you do that again, I'm giving you a yellow card. She's like, all right.
Giordano. Ruther running onto it. Good touch. Better spin. But the setup denied.
It's been a fun battle on this right side between Yvonne and Ratcliffe. Both fast, small players, but tough. They just are been going at it this whole game.
Radcliffe again. Connerman can't clear. And Giordano has had a ton of service tonight. Sends another one to the box. Latsko. And a weak left-footed shot. And an easy stop for Buckley. You'll be here this weekend for number 1 versus number 2, regardless of how this one ends up. Looks like it's going to go Virginia's way, but how do you see that matchup between the Seminoles and Cavaliers?
Well, it's one of those games where it's similar style of play. Both teams are excellent in possession, and from the top down, there's not really a weakness. It seems like Florida State has had Virginia's number in the past year, especially because regular season Florida State beat Virginia, ACC championship game Florida State beat Virginia, and the national championship game Florida State beat Virginia. So I'm thinking that Virginia really wants a rematch, and they're happy to have them here at home and on their home turf, and see if they can start the winning ways again against Florida State. But typically it's 1-0 is how their games end. So it's always a tough defensive battle, and then the better midfield typically wins out.
Price with a counter chance for Louisville, and broken up by Virginia. Under 5 left to go here in Charlottesville in this matchup between the Cards and Cavs. And 23 wins and 3 losses last year for Virginia, and all of those at the hands of the Seminoles. That'll be a fun one here at Klockner Stadium this weekend. Cavs looking for another one. Header! Steered wide by Ruther.
Good position, though, from Ruther. She out-muscled her defender on the back end. Schaffer with another excellent ball. She's been doing that all game. And just was Ruther was able to out-muscle Connerman there and wasn't able to get it on frame, though.
Habuda. Danger lurking for the moment. And Stearns not staying at home that time. She made out the pounce on that one.
Yeah, no hesitation from her offer line there, and that's what Virginia needed, because that was a tough ball, and it would have been difficult to clear that one as a Virginia defender.
Let's go turns, but Price read it. Long ball, but Viteri not able to get there.
It's a good idea from Louisville, but you're not going to beat Virginia that way. Again, you win the ball back finally after chasing Virginia's possession, and then you give it away with one kick over the top. And they need to just try and combine just a little bit more. They have the players now in the positions because they're pushing up more. They're just not finding them and combining well, especially in the midfield.
Vincent. Habuda. Throw in Louisville. Final 3-minute stretch. Do the Cardinals have an equalizer in them? They have a corner right now.
If you're Louisville, take your time, get a good cross in. You don't have to rush on this.
This time, Louisville packing the box. Not the best of crosses, but it was headed back, and now the header on from Price is wide.
You have to clear the first lines of defenders if you're Louisville's corner kick taker, and it wasn't cleared. Fortunately for Louisville, they got it right back, but just wasn't able to get a good enough cross in, and that's the opportunity that Louisville was looking for.
Ball chipped towards the edge of the area, but easy play for Virginia, at least to steer it to midfield. "90 seconds left to go. Tough touch for the Cardinals. And Virginia will have somebody else come do the throw-in duties and try to put this one in the win column for victory number 12 of the season.
And it's another one for Virginia where it wasn't a perfect match for them. It wasn't that full 90 minutes that Coach Swanson is really looking for. They're still figuring out those decisions and execution and putting it all together. But if it ends like this, they're gutting it out still, and they're getting the results that they need and staying, in the top 5 of the country.
Iordanu, Ruther stays onside. Centering ball, let's go. And Louisville able to keep it out, but just about 30 seconds left. Maybe time for one more chance, but they'd need possession to do that, and Virginia's got it back. Hey, look at the Cavaliers. And even when not maybe at the level that they would like to be, good teams find ways to win. And this second-ranked team in the country finding a way tonight with Brianna Westrup climbing the ladder on that header on the corner kick. And it looks like it will stand up for Virginia as they get another home win here at Klockner Stadium. 1-0 is the result. Virginia over a pesky bunch of Louisville Cardinals.
Well, when you're an excellent team, it's easy to win pretty, but it's hard to win not so pretty, and Virginia did that today. They are just one of those teams that grind it out. They get results. They play pretty soccer, but they're still trying to put everything together, and they still are building to the finale of the season. And for Louisville, they're gaining confidence. You got to give them credit. They keep developing a tough stretch of games for them. Now they can go back, regroup, and really start to try and get some results in the final part of their season.
So the goal from the freshman Westrup, first of her career. Virginia takes it 1-0 over Louisville. Back to Charlottesville to wrap it up in a moment as the Cavaliers get past the Cards on this Thursday night in the ACC. 2 in the nation. Virginia outlasting Louisville, and Brianna Westrup got the goal got mobbed by her teammates, got a little treatment in the locker room, and now back out to celebrate after this game winner, the header off the quarter of the 73rd minute.
Well, Alexis Schaffer delivers an excellent ball, and Brianna Westrup decided she wanted to win it over Louisville's defense, and she did, and with an excellent effort. Not much that Taylor Buckland, the goalkeeper of Louisville, can do there.
Getting the start in place of Emily Sonnet, who's with Team USA this week, part of the Victory Tour. And filling in along the back line, gets the goal as well as we look at the overall numbers.
Well, it's a dominated performance from Virginia, 19-6 in shots. And, you know, it's a testament to the Louisville defense that it was only 1-0. They did an excellent job of the game plan. They just weren't able to put it together for a full 90 minutes.
So Virginia will take the win, put it in its pocket, and get ready to host #1 Florida State here this weekend in what should be a doozy. Louisville certainly tested the Cavaliers tonight, but #2 Virginia gets the win 1-0 over the Cardinals. For Cat Whitehill, our entire crew, this is Jason Knapp saying, hope you enjoyed it, and so long from Charlottesville tonight.